Hi, this is Laura, the library lady, and I have another book to discuss with you. Today it's cloudy and rainy outside. That's pretty hard on a nice summer day, but it happens. No better way to spend your time on a rainy summer day than reading a book. Today's book is entitled Jonah. Now, I have to say for all of you parents, this is a Christian-based book. So if you are concerned about learning or reading or watching this episode, that's totally understandable. But no matter what your faith is, it's so important to reinforce the principles of your faith with your child. So I wanted to say that. So if this offends you in any way, you can go ahead and click off now. Okay, I am a Christian, and I love this book. It's called Jonah, and like other books I've done, it's a board book, but it's a little book. It's really great for little hands. But this book has something special. I'm going to turn and look at the title. It's a Lift a Flap. That means this book has an extra special quality that children love. And I would say this book is good for anywhere from 3 years old to 5 years old, but older. I'm a big kid and I love this book. So it is based on the biblical character Jonah, who is sent to Nineveh, and he didn't want to go. So he got swallowed up by a whale. I don't know about you all, but I went to Sunday school as a little girl, and churches have changed a lot. So I learned a lot of Bible stories as a very young child, and those are the foundations of the Christian faith. You start off with stories, but I believe them, and now that I'm an adult, I've learned that those weren't just stories. Not that I thought that then either. So let's jump on in. So this is a board book. We've discussed that before, so it's good for little ones, because the pages are nice and sturdy and kids love to put things in their mouths when they're very young. 3 to 5 is a great age. You can start reading with your child at any time. So it says Jonah, and we have a picture of Jonah here and the whale in the background. If you open this book up, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, it says, God is looking for Jonah. He wanted Jonah to preach. So you can talk about, what preaching means. Do we have a preacher? This book can lead to all kind of other discussions. But if you look closely, it says God is looking for Jonah. Where could Jonah be? Now remember, this is a lift a flat book. So if you go here, you can barely see it on camera. You open this up, and what do you see? Jonah is hiding inside of this house or this building. And you open the flap, it says, there's Jonah. He's afraid of God. And that's a nice way to talk about emotions. What does it mean to be afraid? What are the expressions on your face when you're afraid? So that is nonverbal communication, your facial expressions. And put this in the camera, and you can see that Jonah, he's got a beard, and he looks afraid. And you can even talk about the kind of clothes that he's wearing and how they're very different from the clothes we wear now, perhaps. So you turn the page, and it says, Jonah hides from God behind. So this is what we call a prompt. So it's not a complete sentence. And we use this a lot in high school as well, especially in writing. And you'll see this on testing and standardized tests as well. It says, Jonah hides from God behind, ... That means it's asking for your interpretation or the child's interpretation. This is very good. Questioning is a wonderful technique that children need to master, because they're going to be asked a lot of questions during their education. So if we know that God is looking for Jonah, we know that God is looking for Jonah because he wants Jonah to preach, and for whatever reason, Jonah is hiding from God. We have that here. And we turn the page, and we have a prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T, right here. So we look at this page, where is Jonah? And if we forget what Jonah looks like, because, these are people with beards, they may not look like your family, we can always go back to the previous page, open the flap, and we see what Jonah looks like. Okay, he's got purple, he's got striped. Okay, let's see. And kids love looking hide and seek, one of my favorite games as a kid, and I don't think that's changed at all. So we look, is this Jonah? No, that's a lady. Okay, how do we know that? You can talk about that if you wish. And she's selling fabric. Is this Jonah? No, he doesn't have on the same outfit, but it could be Jonah. Is this Jonah? I don't remember him wearing that. But so you can have those discussions with your children. But is there a secret panel on this page? There is. So you're going to open the flap. He's hiding in a tent. Okay, so you can go on to the next page, or you can, as a parent, say, okay, this is a tent. What is a tent? Some of us will know, we go camping and things like that, but a lot of people don't have an opportunity to go on a trip. And maybe they live in a tent, maybe they don't, but what's the difference between a tent and this stone or brick building? So that's a whole conversation in itself, how we live and where we live. So Jonah, he's in a tent, and dot, dot, dot. And the tent has red and white stripes. You can talk about that. You can reinforce their colors. So we turn the page, and it says, a town called Joppa is by the sea. That's where Jonah, dot, dot, dot. So once again, we have a prompt. And we see the city with the buildings. We see the grass. We see the road. What don't we see? We don't see Jonah. So if you open this flap right here, you say, tries to flee. So Jonah, he's hidden in a building, he's hidden in a tent, and he's running away from God. Why is he running away from God? The very first page, second page, let's see, does it tell us? It doesn't tell us. Oh, yes, it does, under the flap, because Jonah's afraid. Why is Jonah afraid of God? Has God done something to him? So it says here on the next page, a crowd of people wait to board a ship. Is Jonah there? So once again, like the I Spy books we talked about, we're looking for Jonah. We're looking at the scene. And once again, there's a little flap here. And what? Yes, he is. And what is Jonah doing? He's hiding in a basket. So you can see how this book continues. Now, this is a board book, and it's pretty indestructible, but you need to teach your child how to handle books so they last. I had books for so long, my mother gave them away and everything after I was a teenager. So these flaps open up, but they're easily torn. And if you tear the flaps, you're losing the text. And then Jonah won't be hidden. One thing that makes this book so very special is that it has flaps. That's an added feature, one that kids truly love. So I went online, and there's a whole series of Lift a Flap books. Could I find this exact title? No. I can't even remember when I got this book, but it's a gem. Also, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I got this book at the Dollar Tree. That's right. How many years ago? I have no idea. So if you can't find this kind of book, libraries may have pop-up books and flap-open books, but because they're used by so many people, sometimes they're torn or damaged. It just depends on the book and when you get it. So the library, I'm always going to advocate to go to your local library. But you can see this online. And I actually did see a listing for this online, but they did not have a picture for it. So I'm not quite sure about the availability. I did go on Amazon.com, and they were charging some outrageous prices. So if you ever want to know, if you want to actually have the exact book, on the back of each book, and I'm getting a bit technical, but I am a librarian by trade, they have the ISBN number. That is the International Standard Book Number. And each individual book, DVD, video, everything has that. Because titles can be duplicated, and Jonah, I believe, is fair use because it's been around so long. And knowing the publisher is very good. So I think if you want a special book for your child, especially on a rainy summer day, when you're at the dollar store and there's one everywhere, go through the book aisle and see if you can pick out a book for your child. or have your child pick out a book for themselves. And they have books for all age ranges. It's not limited to little ones. I've even bought books for myself and enjoyed them from the Dollar Tree. So it's very important to do that and to know how to handle a book as well so it will last. Also, I'll say this, there was a time when a lot of my associates were having weddings and having babies, and I've been to a couple of baby showers where the new mom actually asked for books for a child. And I actually, because I'm a librarian, I used to work out in a gym in Selma a long time ago, and one of the girls was going to be leaving us because she was having a baby. Well, I went to the Dollar Tree. I got this bag. I decorated. I think I got her $5, $6 worth of books. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago. So I gave it to her, and she was a Christian. And I believe that's when I bought this book. So that's been about 15 years ago or so. And I got her a number of books, Christian-based books, at the Dollar Tree. She started crying when she opened the book because she said, you know, no one's giving me any books for my baby to be, and now I have a start of my own baby's library. And when I was growing up, my mother had a bookshelf full of books when my brother and I were little. And some of my favorite authors were Leo Leone and some others. Leo the Late Bloomer. I can still remember What Mary Jo Shared, which my mom gave away. And I actually found, again, a different version. But in 1965, that was the first year an African-American child was the protagonist in a book. That is significant, at least to me, and maybe to you. So these are great books. So think about giving books as a gift for someone who's having a new baby or for a child. And when you buy a book for your child, they may not be motivated to read it, so you get in there and you read it too. And Bible stories, whether you read them in a book, a children's Bible, or opening your Bible and reading it with your child, specific stories, because the Bible can be kind of, ooh, a lot of stuff goes on in the Bible that may be a little bit scary for little ones, because there's a lot of, violence and death and a lot of other stuff going on in the Bible. So if you do read an adult Bible to your child, pick make your selection wisely. Not that you don't want to water down the Word of God. That's not what I'm suggesting. But, if you are a person of faith, you have to live out your faith in front of your child. And cracking open that Bible is a part of that. Well, at least I think so. I think that's the most important book of all. Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And this is Jonah, what is it called? Lift a Flap. Great book. Thank you.